So today we got 3 news stories. Microsoft is upgrading its xCloud service to Series X hardware in 2021. Amazon has apparently mitigated the largest DDoS attack ever recorded. And Microsoft has officially said about removing Windows apps is a copyright violation. This is a 3 top stories. This is the dynamic digital world. Let's get started. Okay, so if you saw yesterday's episode, then you remember that I said I'm kind of sick of reporting on the Apple stuff. As you just heard in the intro, it would sound like there is going to be no Apple news because it's xCloud, the Amazon DDoS, and then Microsoft about copyright violations for removing apps. But unfortunately, as with anything related to gaming or apps, xCloud does have a small tie-in to Apple. So it's mainly about the hardware upgrade, but we're going to go over some limitations that are coming to it later this year. So xCloud is going to debut later this year as part of Xbox Game Pass. Now, I don't know what that means, whether the prices are going to stay the same and xCloud is just going to be built into all 3 bundles, or whether there's going to be a specific bundle with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with xCloud, for example, or will it just be xCloud is just added in no matter what version of Game Pass you have, and the price stays the same. So, there's really no knowing how this is going to go down at the minute. It's kind of unseen and unknown. Now, currently, the streaming service is powered by Xbox One S server blades in Microsoft data centers. However, next year, they're apparently going to use Series X servers or Series X hardware in the servers. Now, they are apparently also experimenting with dedicated PC server blades for PC games over xCloud. So that could be very good if you say you got a laptop and you want to do PC gaming. Again, I personally won't be doing this. I'm upgrading my PC, as I have said in lots of these episodes now, and I'm upgrading my PC and will definitely probably be using xCloud for Xbox game streaming on my computer if that's how this works, as we do know that Microsoft is currently testing a xCloud client for PCs that will stream Xbox games to Windows 10 PCs. However, it doesn't support PC games as of yet. This is obviously going to be much more capable. However, this will probably come more likely than not in late 2021. They will need to sell some of the hardware first, but they are currently testing it to make sure it's feasible, so that's going to be good. And another thing about the PC server blades quickly is that this could bring PC games to mobile devices, obviously Windows PCs, and perhaps Xbox consoles. I don't know what's going to be going on with Mac client, whether they're going to do a Mac client or they're not going to do a Mac client. That's quite up in the air at the minute. There's a good chance they would, but there's also a very high chance they wouldn't. Nothing's really been said in terms of a Mac client. Now, they are on track for the launch to be later this year for Android mobile devices. Again, we've got no kind of confirmation about a PC launch. I imagine it could be close, but the fact that they haven't started PC beta testing does suggest it's still a way to go. Microsoft has started testing xCloud on iOS earlier this year, but has said that it can't fully test its service on Apple's platform due to unspecified App Store restrictions. As I said to you earlier, this is including a little bit of Apple. Basically, Apple has restrictions on store policies, and due to both restrictions, xCloud currently can't launch in full on iOS. These are the same restrictions that are stopping Google Stadia, and GeForce Now, I believe, still hasn't been launched. Let's double check that quickly. I'll just search it on here. As far as I'm aware, there's been no launch. There's literally nothing comes up. I just get a blank. So, there's still no GeForce Now either. So, due to certain App Store restrictions, I can imagine it's something to do with accessing stuff over the internet or something. it can't fully release xCloud on iOS. Now, they are apparently trying to pressure Apple into adjusting store policies. However, as I have probably alluded to in all of my other episodes so far, that is probably the furthest thing from likely to happen. So I guess unless the new antitrust investigation into the policies, which is currently ongoing, does obviously also include these sorts of policies, which is unlikely to, then I think we'll be very lucky if we get to see xCloud on iOS within the year. Now, this is not saying that xCloud isn't still going to be an amazing service. xCloud is probably... I've been playing around with Google Stadia and GeForce Now. Currently, the one that I'm most comfortable with using is xCloud. I know PlayStation do have their PS Now service that does have a few good games, but just the fact is, I don't have the ability to buy into PS Now. It's extra money. I will give PS Now a go at some point. I just have to wait with it before I can give it a go. So yeah, xCloud is officially going to debut later this year, and Xbox Series X hardware will be there in 2021. So with that out of the way, let's go on to our second story of today. I'm going to do an episode without any of the intermissions in the middle of them. I just think it sounds a bit more fluid. Personally, if you do prefer it, again, drop me an email. My email will be in the description. Drop me an email with why you would say prefer to have those intermissions, and I will definitely try, and I will maybe do a version, and I'll maybe alternate it over the days, so one day has intermission, one day doesn't. So anyway, let's go on to our second story of the day. Amazon has officially mitigated the largest DDoS attack ever recorded. Now, this is according to Amazon, and however is backed up by multiple other sources. This DDoS attack had an unseen volume of 2.3 terabytes per second. That is previously unseen, and to be honest, unheard of. 2.3 terabytes. Now, this apparently occurred back in February, and this is absolutely incredible. To be honest, like, the amount of power that would have been driven into this to have 2.3 terabytes per second going into a website is outstanding. And the fact that Amazon completely managed to apparently mitigate it, that's insane. That's really good. Now, they did not disclose the target or the origin of the attack for a very significant reason, obviously. But to put that into perspective, prior to February of this year, the largest DDoS attack was in March 2018, so this is 2 years running. So this was almost 2 years after that. And it was 1.7 terabytes per second. The previous month had been hit by an attack with a peak of 1.35 terabits per second. So this is 0.6 terabytes over that, over the largest, or over the second largest, and almost a terabyte over GitHub's attack. It was apparently called a reflection attack, which is what Cloudflare explains as an attempt to use a vulnerable third-party server to amplify the amount of data being sent to a victim's IP address. It mainly relied on exploiting CLDAP servers to amplify its traffic. Attacks using this protocol, which is normally used to access and edit directories shared over the internet, have been taking place since 2016. Amazon said that the largest attacks it saw between quarter 2 of 2018 and quarter 4 of 2019 were still smaller than 1 terabyte per second, and that in the first quarter of this year, 99% of attacks were 43 gigabytes per second or smaller. So this is a very big attack. Now, 2018 attacks apparently relied on exploiting a new memcached attack vendor, but says that in the years since, internet service providers and content delivery networks have worked to secure memcached servers that are vulnerable to being exploited. Those first two stories came courtesy of The Verge, so huge thanks to The Verge for obviously reporting on these stories. Today, our first story is here coming from Microsoft MS Power User, and it's about Microsoft apparently saying removing Windows apps is a copyright violation. They have officially filed a DMCA complaint against a modified version of Windows named Ninjutsu OS. The creator is accused of customizing Windows 10 in a way that breaks the terms of the company's software license agreement. Now, they've removed specific Windows 10 applications, uninstalled bundle software, and changed certain settings. The creator of the project, however, said it's not copyright. Now, apparently the OS was designed to help beginners enter the field of information security, providing the tools and interface required for this type of work. Now, Microsoft believes that customizing Windows 10 with powerful tweaks and optimize, protecting privacy by tweaking and customizing Windows 10, disable many of the annoying features built into Windows, unwanted Windows components removal, and remove or disable many Windows programs and services are officially Microsoft license agreement. Now, they are the one. Now, I can see two reasons for this being kind of filed. One is it probably is a violation of their terms of service, especially to be distributing. The fact is, this is a distribution of a modified version of Windows 10, and that is probably a violation of service terms somewhere, even if it's not explicit. And the second part is, even though this would still count as Windows 10, a lot of these features could possibly break it, especially if they do announce future updates. I don't know what has been removed, but they could have, for example, removed, say, some very important security features that they didn't realise were important security features. I'm not saying this is likely, but it could be very possible. Now, the complaint officially states, start quote, "We have a good faith belief that the material made available on the page or links listed above have not been authorized by Microsoft, their agents, or the law for publication, listing, or sale in this manner, or on your site. As such, we request that you please act expeditiously to remove or disable access to the specific pages or links described above, and thereby prevent the illegal reproduction and distribution of Microsoft content via your company's network." End quote. Now, apparently Ninjutsu OS is not a pirated version of Windows 10, and they do in fact require a Windows 10 license in order to acquire it. So it's a software tool only for Windows 10 PCs. So this is not pirated as such, it's more modified. And you do have to have a Windows 10 license for everything to work. So I guess it's better than, them just cracking Windows so everyone had a free license and giving it off. However, I do still believe that to be honest, I don't know, it kind of on that middle line now. I do believe removing a lot of features from Windows could possibly cause damage to Windows. Not intentionally, but purely accidentally. It would be very easy to accidentally disable a major feature. Now, there are no reports of this having happened. It's very possible that something could be broken that hasn't been detected. Now, this seems unlikely, but the fact is that, for all we know, this is just someone trying to make things easier for people who want to use Windows, but don't want a load of features. Some of these Windows apps are integral parts of the Windows ecosystem. Now, I don't have a comprehensive list of what has been removed, and I currently cannot find a way to their site linked on this website. But it's a software tool only for Windows 10 PCs. Now, I say software tool is more of a ISO image. I don't know how much they customize in the installer, where they customize the actual names on the product. I don't know how much of it is visibly customized, but they do say that there are powerful tweaks and customized. Some of the language on this does seem a bit dodgy, like customize Windows 10 with powerful tweak and optimize. Just some of it does seem, a bit, to see how many of the annoying features built into Windows, unwanted Windows components removal. Just some of it does seem a bit oddly worded, but, that's understandable. So yeah, it's kind of interesting though, just to see Microsoft kind of taking a hard stance on this. I'm not surprised they would be, to be honest though. This is their property, and whilst they're not cracking it or anything, it does still violate. It probably does violate terms of service, even accidentally. Like, I don't think it would have been intentional. No company would intentionally. Well, I say that, but companies do intentionally violate terms of service. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they would have been trying as hard as they could, especially as they have said that they believe it does not violate copyright. So it shows that they're definitely not trying to violate the copyright, and they believe they haven't violated copyright. However, it probably has, even accidentally, it just skipped over it. If they haven't, even better, it could just stay up. But as for now, it's down. Personally, I think this is a bit of a bad light for Microsoft. They could have let it stay up. They could have even partnered with them to make it an official flavour of Windows. Who knows, it could have been the first version of flavoured Windows. So Windows customized different tastes. That would have been pretty interesting to see. Could even still happen in the future. We obviously know that Windows does have a history of taking old projects that were released and rebasing them into their own operating system. We saw it with their package manager, and they did originally give the original creator credit. Or they did after the fact give the original creator credit. So you know, it's just interesting to see. Now, a few other small notes, nothing major, but EA Play is tonight. So if you wanted to see the latest in the EA events, I think if you're in the US, it would have actually started a couple hours ago now. If you're in the UK and you're listening to this before midnight on the 18th of June, then definitely, and you want to watch it live, it's there at midnight if you're willing to stay up that late. If not, it'll be live tomorrow. I will try and get a episode out within the next 2 days about EA Play, but that's going to be a bit of a challenge for me, merely just because I'm out tomorrow, so I won't be really able to do anything major until the evening, and I kind of want to do the main, so it'll probably be a Saturday episode. I'll try and get it out on Friday, but don't be holding your breath for that. I'll try my hardest. Anyway, thanks for listening. My name's Luke, and this is the Dynamic Digital World. I'll see you in tomorrow's episode.